The mystery baby.
Yes. That's a weird one. Percy registered her birth in Naples, late 1819, listed himself and Mary as the parents.
But Mary always insisted she wasn't the mother.
Emphatically denied it. So who was Elena? Was she Percy's child with Claremont, or someone else, maybe a foundling they briefly took in? It's still a puzzle.
And tragically, Elena also died young.
Yes, in June 1820. Just another layer of sorrow.
It's just one thing after another. And then 1822, the final brutal blows.
Yeah. June 1822, Mary suffers this incredibly severe miscarriage, nearly bled to death.
But Percy saved her, put her in an ice bath.
He did, acted incredibly quickly, apparently, and pulled her back from the brink.
Wow, but then, just weeks later, the ultimate tragedy, July 8th, 1822, Percy sailing.
Sailing with a friend off the Italian coast, sudden storm blows up their boat, the Don Juan, sinks.
And Percy drowned. His body washed ashore 10 days later.
The final devastating blow.
And that story about his cremation on the beach and Mary keeping his heart. Is that real?
The beach cremation, yes, that's documented. The heart story is, well, it's a powerful legend, possibly true. She supposedly kept it, wrapped in silk, carried it with her.
Whether it's literal or symbolic, it just speaks volumes about the depth of her grief.
Absolutely. Her own words were, "Now I am alone. Oh, how alone." She was only 24. Imagine enduring all that by 24. The resilience is staggering.
Incredible resilience. So she returns to England in 1823, a widow, with her one surviving son, Percy Florence. But things were still incredibly difficult, right? Especially money-wise.
Very difficult. Percy's father, Sir Timothy Shelley, controlled all the family money, and he was difficult, to put it mildly.
And he wanted nothing to do with Mary herself.
Refused to even meet her. He agreed to support his grandson, Percy Florence, but only if he was raised in England under certain conditions, and he explicitly forbade Mary from publishing any biography of Percy.
So she was trapped, financially dependent on this hostile father-in-law.
Exactly. A really tough spot for such an independent, intellectual woman.
But despite all that, the grief, the financial constraints, the restrictions, she kept writing. Prolifically, even.
Amazingly so. She had to support herself and her son. She published more novels, The Last Man in 1826, then Valperga, Perkin Warbeck, Lador, Faulkner.
And not just novels, right? She did other kinds of writing, too.
Absolutely. Those 5 volumes of biographies for Lardner's Cabinet Encyclopedia, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, French writers, quite the undertaking.
Plus short stories for things like The Keepsake, those popular gift annuals, and a travelogue later on.
Yeah, rambles in Germany and Italy. She wasn't just dabbling. She was a working writer, a professional, making a living with her pen.
That's such a crucial insight, especially for a woman back then.
A remarkable achievement.
And she also took on the huge task of shaping Percy's legacy, didn't she? Despite Sir Timothy's ban on a biography.
She did, very carefully. First, his posthumous poems in 1824, then the big one, his collected poetical works in 1839.
So how did she get around the biography ban?
Very cleverly, she included extensive biographical notes within the poetry collection itself, and she strategically framed him.
How so?
Less as the political radical, more as this lyrical, ethereal poet. Made him more palatable to Victorian readers, and crucially, less offensive to Sir Timothy.
That's incredibly savvy, preserving his work while navigating those constraints. A real act of literary and personal defiance.
Scholars call it a canonizing event for Percy, solidified his place in literature, and it was largely thanks to her efforts.
So given all that, how has her own reputation shifted over time? Was she always seen as this major figure?
No, sadly not always. For a long time, she was primarily known as Percy Shelley's wife, and of course, the author of Frankenstein.
Her other work got overlooked, dismissed.
Pretty much. Seen as lesser works. Part of that might have been her son, Percy Florence, and his wife, Jane. After Mary died, they apparently tried to sort of Victorianize her memory.
Make her seem more conventional, less radical.
Kind of smooth over the rough edges, maybe. And Mary herself, by downplaying Percy's radicalism, maybe contributed to that perception a bit, too.
But recent scholarship has really changed that view, hasn't it?
Oh, profoundly. With the republication of her complete works, there's been this huge reassessment.
What's the new picture that's emerged?
She's now really recognized as a major romantic figure in her own right, significant for her own literary achievements, her distinct political voice as a woman, as a liberal thinker.
That feels like a much more accurate understanding.
It absolutely does. She was a force. This deep dive really helps show that.
Okay, so we've covered the incredible arc of her life, the highs, the many, many lows, the resilience. Let's dig into the themes and style of her writing now. How did all that intense life experience show up on the page?
Well, you definitely see autobiographical elements. Critics point to things like complex father-daughter relationships, characters who seem based on Percy or Byron.
Right, people in her circle. But she also kind of pushed back against reading it too literally, didn't she? The idea that authors just copy from our own hearts.
She did. She suggested it's more about tapping into universal human emotions, which, I mean, were certainly extreme in her own life. It's insight into how personal pain can become universal art.
She also worked in different genres. We think Frankenstein, Gothic, but there was more.
Absolutely. Frankenstein itself, yeah, it builds on her father's Godwinian novel tradition using fiction for philosophical ideas, but it also critiques some of those Enlightenment ideals her parents championed.
Like Victor Frankenstein's ambition being seen as dangerous self-delusion, not heroic.
Exactly. And her historical novels like Valperga and Perkin Warbeck, scholars see those as really interesting feminist takes on the genre.
Which was dominated by men like Sir Walter Scott then.
Right. So what makes him feminist? Well, she often uses her female characters to question male power structures, war, political intrigue.
Contrasting those with values like community, peace.
Exactly. Values she associates with her female protagonists. It's a subtle but powerful critique running through them.
And the gender themes in Frankenstein itself.
Yeah.
That's been huge for feminist critics.
Oh, immensely. Critics like Ellen Moores, Sandra Gilbert, Susan Gubar, they offered these groundbreaking readings. Moores called it a birth myth.
Exploring anxieties about pregnancy, childbirth, motherhood. Things Mary knew all too well, tragically.
Precisely. Victor Frankenstein's creation seen as this monstrous, unnatural usurpation of female procreative power.
And Gilbert and Gubar saw her as writing back against the male literary tradition.
Yes, responding to it, reshaping it. It shows she was grappling with these issues of creation, motherhood, female power long before it was common. A remarkably prescient voice.
It's a powerful insight. Not just theory, but a window into how personal experience fuels universal art.
It is, and some critics, like Anne Meller, even suggest Mary used the Gothic style partly to explore female desires or anxieties that couldn't be expressed openly.
Like the genre itself allowed her to speak the unspeakable.
Sort of. Miller also wondered if Mary's own feelings, maybe inadequacy surrounded by all these famous male writers, contributed to the images of abnormality and destruction in her work, a kind of psychological projection.
Wow, that adds such a rich layer. But it wasn't all dark critique, right? There's also this emphasis on cooperation, compassion.
Yes, very much so. Across her work, there's this strong celebration of what she saw as feminine affections and compassion.
Not just personal virtues, but essential for society.
Exactly. An ethic of cooperation, mutual dependence, self-sacrifice. It really counters the intense individualism you see in some other romantics.
Like in her novel Faulkner, where the heroine's compassionate approach actually succeeds.
Right. It shows how these female values can liberate even the male characters. It's quite striking.
Let's talk about Enlightenment and Romanticism. She was steeped in both, but also really critical.
Deeply critical, yeah. Frankenstein is often read as a critique of that romantic individualism, the egotism.
Victor's ambition isn't heroic, it's dangerous.
Right, and she definitely lacked her parents' absolute faith in human perfectibility through reason alone. Her apocalyptic novel, The Last Man, is seen as a major challenge to Western humanism.
How so? What's it challenging?
Basically, the Enlightenment's belief in inevitable progress and the romantic idea that art or imagination can save us. The Last Man offers a much darker, more cautionary vision, quite prophetic in some ways.
And her later politics. People used to think she got more conservative, but that's being reevaluated.
Absolutely. Newer scholarship points to a lifelong commitment to reform. She followed European politics closely, got excited by uprisings in Spain, contributed to the radical journal The Liberal. She was thrilled by Britain's 1832 Reform Act.
So not abandoning radicalism, maybe, but evolving?
Quite possibly. Some argue her later work challenged the specific brand of radicalism of her male circle, grounding her politics more in domestic realities, ethical concerns, a quieter, maybe more practical form of radicalism.
And her biographical work for the Cabinet Encyclopedia, was that just paying the bills or more?
Definitely more. The research was immense. She had a real gift for narrative biography. And importantly, she brought what scholars call a feminist historiography perspective.
Focusing on women's lives and viewpoints.
Yes. And she used these widely read biographies to subtly promote values like domesticity, sympathy, compassion, making biography itself a kind of political intervention, highlighting the personal sphere.
So she was weaving her insights into everything, even seemingly academic work.
It really seems that way. A very conscious, deliberate writer.
So wrapping things up, Mary Shelley's life. It was this incredible, truly tumultuous journey from profound loss and societal limits to becoming this hugely influential literary figure, so much more than just Frankenstein.
Immensely more. A prolific professional writer, shaping her own legacy, shaping Percy's, navigating just unbelievably difficult circumstances.
A true literary pioneer, someone who really, as one source put it, tried her damnedest to live on her own terms.
That's a great way to put it. Constantly pushing against the norms of her time in her life and her art. Showing immense personal and intellectual bravery, leaving us insights that still hit home today.
So here's a final thought for you, the listener. Consider Mary Shelley. Born into this world of genius, radical ideas, yet burdened by such immense personal tragedy. How did she manage to harness all that, transform it into art that still makes us question our own assumptions about creation, ambition, what it means to be human?
It's quite something to ponder.
And maybe reflect on this. What monsters, what challenges or losses in your own life, if you really look at them deeply, might actually hold the seeds for your own unexpected insights, or maybe even your most enduring contributions?